they don't understand that coming, the Lord dealing with you, it requires, both basically the good and also the evil. You see that we dealing with this every week. Remember when what's his name? Jesse Ventura said that when you see military troops on your streets, then know that you're in a third world country. So that's just witness. Because at first they try to gear you up gradually, to see what's about to take place. They gonna be starting. They ain't not gonna do game. They can, you know, for now. And then we watch all of those ice heroes, they is a group, and they take shape. They make a hand. They make a hand around the couple, grabbing up the beating them up, while the other couple blocking the people. Right? Although I just say, Jake's like that. It was a big ass, man. There was a whole bunch of them, But then they just gonna start shooting like they made that one chick, man. Like I was saying, basically, serving the people in this world, they only feel like the Lord is only dealing with you when you quote unquote prospering in this world, But they don't understand the scriptures we're in our captivity to this day, and basically this being our punishment. So certain things the Lord is going to require you to show forth your faith, whether He's giving you certain good things and taking certain things away. You just know that the Lord is going to make sure they pray, So even if we do go through certain trials and tribulations, like we may lose our job, we may receive certain ailments, we gotta have the mindset, like the scripture say, they were written one time for our learning, and the great men in the scripture, it's like during the time when Job was life, making her with a complaint, We gotta keep these things in mind because these things can happen to us. This is the book of Job, chapter 2, verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? You gotta keep that in mind when we going out in the streets, the highways and byways. Some brothers may have women that complain about, you going out there, get on Saturday. Like I had a woman that I was dealing with, she used to say, you gotta go out every Saturday, you can't miss a day. They're gonna be fine with that, yeah, like they get all types of shit. Why don't you just say, why don't we go? Come on, just one Saturday. But they don't understand the fear that we have in our hearts towards the outside. It's not about it's not like this is a regular job this is more important than our job. If you don't believe this is more important than your job, that your carnal job that you have in this world, and there's no point in you bearing this truth because ultimately Yahweh Shai knows when you're bullshitting and when you're not, You gotta remember that. You can lie to your supervisor at work or you marry a fake call and say, I'm sick and play the little fake call down to the hospital. You can trick them, but you can't trick Yahweh outside. You like said the angel of the Lord that comes around those that fear. So what we do deny the people of the world, like the Lord was dealing with, or our children. Can we do this on Saturday around this time? Because I noticed that too. It seems like every Saturday, certain things be planned for around the time camps start. So close to camps ending, like right in the middle. It's like the child, that's a test, So the angels see what you're doing. The angels, so you lying, I can just you calling and you fighting so they the camp, reporting to whoever above you, saying you're not going to make it because you don't feel good when the angels know that you feel quite fine, and that's the thing, and these things, like I said, in Luke 12, and I believe 3 or 2, it says that it's that end that will not be fulfilled. Eventually, you're going to get exposed, The Lord might let you do that. The Lord might let you do that for a while, but eventually, you're going to get exposed, And you got to have the fear to believe that. That's why I have the fear to not lie to the brotherhood or do certain things in secret because, like I said, that's not going to come out. Just like the situation with the Al-Azhar situation,
That's a commandment. To not lie to one another, man. But hey, Paul said he counted all but dumb. The reputation, everything that he had, he counted all but dumb to win out a shot. You know, so you might take L's, you might take losses in this world to show you, like the brother was saying. You don't think that's more important? The most I believe that sacrifice that you got to do sacrifice. That's a part of it. The most I believe is that this is more important than anything else. That's why Richard Randy when he came to that, I think it's like they said they asked, you know, they gave us everything.
Yeah, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee.
You notice prior to that coming out, that's they was talking about the rich man, how he wasn't able to make it. You know, it's like that. They won't make it. You know, you know.
And I was just going to say, but also that there's nothing wrong in looking for reward of the work that you put in. Because, you know, even in this place, they teach you a return on investment. You know, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, which is just a copy over the Bible that, you know, whatever you sow, you're going to reap.
The Lord is with that. You know, reaping business. You know, the Lord is a just. It says just balance. You know, the Lord not gonna have you put it all in work. That's how you know it. What's wrong with these people? You know, because it's not balanced, man.
It says, What shall we have therefore? Verse 28, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore?
Because if somebody say it's either me, if a woman say it's either me or them, or that whatever you doing on Saturday, it's not even a question. You just ask yourself out. You know? But then they gonna say you fault them. Nah, they actually fault you. Because through you, they can be saved, man.
They don't realize that.
Of course they don't. Because look, you can read the scripture and everything. It's not mixed with faith. You know? But that's what I'm saying. If they do well with you, they don't give you hell for what you're doing. They might earn themselves a seat.
They got jumping plenty of time.
Which I've seen that before. I'm like, hey, yo, what the fuck? You about to say that? You know? But yeah, it said we're forsaken all, man. You know? Especially in this day and age when a woman can easily leave. Because there's no consequence. You know? She can commit adultery on you, and there ain't nothing gonna happen. She's not gonna be put to death, she's not gonna get arrested, not gonna get fined. You know? She probably still try to put you in trial, but you got children with her, man. You know? Keep going.
Verse 28. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Remember, I was talking about how the hell it's not balanced, right? Well, this is talking about reincarnation, which also just you know? So unless you have to lie to them, because they answered what we gonna receive. They at that time, 2,000 years ago, they received everything. So what was they gonna receive from doing that? For putting on, for standing stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shai. What was they gonna receive? That's why I said you follow those of you who follow me in the regeneration. That's what we doing now, man. And this is what I'm saying, man. And I hear a video. I'm great. But the Christian church, man. Is the Christian church teaching y'all any of this stuff? No, because you people still believe in heaven and hell, which we're destroying the belief in this type of stuff, right? No, I mean, I'm seeing heaven. But they think that heaven is when you on that they still think, yo, Lord, you only live once, then you're gonna be in heaven for eternity. Their concept of heaven is off. So you're not teaching them the correct thing. Oh, that's I think it's Jeremiah 23 and 21. If you taught them the right things, they will be different. They will be angry. You know?
Verse 29, and everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive an hundredfold, and shall inherit everlasting life.
Yo, so if you forsake your family, you gonna see the other. See, these people don't understand that. If you love them more than him, then you're not worthy of him. You can grab that, bro.
And if I can make a point, you notice how it also said children, right? Because in this society, Esau likes to play the heartstrings of the people when it comes to women and children. And then maybe a good honorable mention with the elderly, right? But nah, not the women and children. That's off limits, bro. Like when you joining against each other, some shit like that, right? Notice it said children, so it says forsake children. Somebody will look at that like, damn, how am I supposed to forsake my child? It's not saying as if you just, throw the baby out with the bathwater, but you're not going to be the quote unquote family man like America and everybody wants you to be. You're going to be having more attentiveness to studying, to the brotherhood, to fellowship, things of that nature, than them pushing birthday parties and fucking family vacations and shit like that, man.
Or if they like, well, like I said earlier, if you're not beholden to the Jew, like they're not trying to prove that. If they try to give you a bad relation, because even the scriptures say that you're supposed to take care of your household, your children. So we're not saying don't do that, Some of us brothers, okay, we got children, and we take care of our children. But the point is, if it gets in the way of the truth, then that's certain. You might have to cut that off. Point blank period. That's just what it is. No matter who it is. Huh?
Yep. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it.
Back up the shower, those situations are temptations, and it's common to man. Just like I said, the situation that happened with me, and Octavia said that he had the same situation, basically, and like I said, the Lord is not right. Basically, with that temptation, he gives you the way out. Just like Scott was saying, that's an easy question to answer. So he gives you the way out. So you gotta know. You got to understand what's acceptable inside the Lord to be able to answer that question. See, some stuff will be quick and easy, but certain things, like the MOTB, we know. No, quick question. That temptation, he's going to give us a way out. You're either going to take that way out or you're not. But if you don't seek the Lord to know what's the way out, when the MOTB comes, you wasn't really sure, you wasn't seeking the Lord. When it comes, you be like, damn, I think the Lord wants me, I don't know, maybe so, but we know the answer because the Lord put the Spirit on us.
The Most High wants you to want Him.
That's right.
And above everything else. And He gonna put you to the side. Bro, Abraham was about to have to kill his own son. Well, at least he do it. And he was gonna do it. That was a count of death for righteousness too. Over the Lord. See, people don't understand that, man. People don't understand that the Lord, look, for instance, right? If you you might have a woman that you know, y'all were probably high school sweethearts or something like that, as they call it, right? And then you come into this and she might want to leave. Damn, y'all like it was inseparable, you know? But you gotta make a choice. You gotta make a sacrifice. And if you choose the right way, then maybe later the most I might bless you with a better one. Because the scripture says that the portion of the wicked woman is the wicked man. The portion of the wicked. You know?
I keep going back to 19 and say you receive a hundredfold. So in a way, you might love that woman. God ended up giving her back to you in the kingdom or whatever. Because the fact of the matter that at this time he was trying to see if you was going to forsake these things for him. And now you know, you see her plus 100 more women more better than her. You know, you gotta really believe those things, you know. And also, you know, like it says in 1 Corinthians 7 chapter, Apostle Paul said, basically the Lord, if a woman leaves you, know, he calls you the beast. Because ultimately when a woman leaves you, it basically gives you more time to basically serve your Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You more focus on serving the Lord, you know, when the Lord takes certain the Lord, when you take certain temptations out of your life, it gives you more time to study and seek Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, like the scripture, when a woman leaves you, it basically gives you more time to basically serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You more focus on serving the Lord, you know, when the Lord takes certain the Lord, when you take certain temptations out of your life, it gives you more time to study and seek Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, like the scriptures say, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is a jealous power, you know. And also it comes with certain things, like I said, like even though we forsake certain things, we still want to go through.
So I don't know if the brothers seen Salakia took so long, but there was very good edifying information, in my opinion, between that. So first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. So it was about a 20-minute, as you just seen, and what let me just start from the left. You see the brother on the left, Tazadakta, then you got Ashba, then you got me, Tazapanya, and then you got the Shar, Daquar, all right, and headed by the elder Zionala. I think he's across the street talking to the other elder Shamar Moth. But there was 5 National Guardsmen that walked past, and I'm at about 18 minutes, so I'm gonna go about 18 minutes before, so to rehash what was seen. But we was going into the things that you have forsaken and not putting anything above this truth. And how does this full circle deal with the conditioning of the people for martial law? Because as they're doing it, the true men of the Lord, right, are preparing themselves in the sense of Isaiah 33:6, which says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. All right. The strength of his salvation, for the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay. So we're going to be stable as we see what's to come. Because right now you get on the news and the media and things of that nature. You got Elon Musk retweeting or tweeting, it's time to enact the insurrection law. You got Nero 47, DJT, Eagle Face, talking about, oh, if this continues on, we're going to push the Insurrection Act, so on and so. Meanwhile, since coming on YouTube and from before that, but the elders of Great Millstone have been telling the people, prophesying that martial law is going to come to the streets, so that we are already in a police state and it's going to increase. And then here we are almost 20 years later, and in one, it's happened in other places, let's say like New York City on the on the subway stations and things of that nature, but now it's spread to the point where you literally have National Guard's troops, all right, walking the streets. Okay. And I was speaking in the ear of the bro Daquar, that like, yo, all of them guys that just walked past us, not only were they young YNs, they was no older than 22 years old, from through my discernment. Okay, and then about two of them was Jake. The rest of them was Edomites. So because it was like five of them, and then I think the more Edomite ones were like scoffing in the sense of like smiling and trying to like hold back a smile, like not taking things a little bit seriously as far as um doing their job, so to speak. So it shows you that there's nothing worse than a scary ass nigga, right? Uh with the license to kill, and he's afraid of you. You see? So we're getting into a point of where people that have not been in serious situations, they have did all this hypothetical training, right? Supposedly. Okay. And then when you actually get into a real world experience, you might fold and not move wisely because you have never been in this situation before. In regards to a 21-year-old with a federally issued sidearm, right? And let's say some shots was really going off. How is he going to maneuver, especially if he's afraid? Okay, then this is the type of talking points and scenarios that is leading up here in Babylon the Great, which is America. So, like I said, I'm gonna go about 18 minutes before, let you hear what I said earlier in regards to these National Guard troops. See if I could get. I should have time stamped it. So Salakia, man, and then I'm gonna end it on out. It should be up here soon.
See that we dealing with this every week now.
So as you can see, so those guys about 20 minutes ago, they made a circle, and as you can see, it's about 5 National Guard troops. All right here next to Howard University and all of that. And like I said, these are some YNs in the sense of their age, right? But yet they are worshiping the image of the beast. They're cooperating with this system, which is nothing but the ancient Roman Empire, but is now revived in the terms of NATO and the EU, right? And which is the beast. And the woman that rideth the beast, which is America, that great whore, the mother of harlots of Babylon the Great, okay, controls all of this. And in this, and right now, as we speak, there is a dissension between the European nations and NATO with America, showing you Revelation 17 and 16 is about to enact because they're saying that they're going to put tariffs on European nations, allies, NATO nations, okay, if they don't allow them to get Denmark, talking about the Nero administration. You see, and then if you could see, you probably can't see it, but then you got the other camp, right? I think it's the Herald's camp that is across the street as well. All right. But look what I'm about to say, and then I'm gonna get a quick precept and I'm gonna close it out.
Remember when what's his name? Jesse Ventura said that when you see military troops on your streets, then know that you're in a third world country. So that's just witness.
All right. So boom. So I'm gonna let that be the timestamp. Hopefully it'll let it after when they zoom in.
Every week.
Boom. So I'm gonna leave it like right there so you could see. So all right, so like I said, last week, Jesse Ventura, who was the ex or former governor of Minnesota, he said that, he's a veteran or whatever and been over there, what was it, the Philippines, and he's seen the transition of going into a dictatorship slash martial law, and then you in a third world country when there's troops on the streets. So we're in a third world country now. In the sense of what a true third world country, like I just learned this not too long ago. This came about, I want to say in the 80s. It might have been earlier than that, but first world country is basically Western civilization. Anything that is a part of NATO, okay, because they're gonna have similar lifestyle environments. So if you go to America and you go to another NATO country, you're going to get a similar living experience. Second world countries was those that was aligned with the Soviet Union, the USSR. Okay, So you'd go there, and those that is aligned with Russia, you would get a similar living experience. And then every other country that is not picking a side, they're a third world country. And by not picking a side, you're going to naturally be have less prosperity, so to speak, for that country, because you don't have the funding, you don't have the security, the military power, because you're not aligned with any superpower. So and it's crazy because then that's kind of like why America turned into a third world country, or is, based upon Jesse Ventura's statement, because military troops is on the ground, and at the same time we are dissociating ourselves from the same treaties and allies that we push, which would be the European Union. You see? So, you know, this is, like I said, this is a recurrent thing. And one of the three unclean spirits, likened unto a frog, it's spoken of in the book of Revelation, those being the city states. We have a camp right here in one of them, which is the military uh, factor, all right, compared to London being the financial and Vatican being the so-called spiritual, or should I say the false religious factor, okay, that controls the world, as with the rest of the city states, because they're not under anybody's jurisdiction. They're of their own sovereignty, so to speak. Okay. And this is a regular thing, man. You see what I'm saying? You doing your Saturday shopping, if you know, a 2/3, and then you walking by, National Guard troops. You feel me? And then as hyperinflation starts to commence, the tension is going to get thicker, and there's going to be a more propensity and more probability of them letting it off. Because if you already have ICE, federal department, booming people in the face, okay, and they're not as organized or as unified as other federal troops, which we're seeing the beginnings of the civil war between the feds and the state as we speak. Just imagine when it's, these type of troops, man, who actually have the training and the weaponry on a more militarized level, man. You know, so like I said, they're conditioning the people for martial law. So I'm gonna get a quick precept and close it out. I went actually longer than I wanted to, but like I said, everything in the beginning that was spoken, okay, was edifying, even though it might sound like it was going into a different topic, but it all goes full circle, because as we in this truth, we need to understand what we signed up for. What are the potential consequences for us being in this truth, whether it be, what is that, Revelation 2 and 10, going into a prison 10 days, roughly paraphrasing, things of that nature, the Lord taking us off the streets and things of that nature. All right, as all hell is starting to break loose. So this is second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. So the modern day sword is the gun, and the death that a gun manifests is coming closer, drawing near. One people shall stand up and fight against another. So a people, whether they be actually related to each other as a nation, or they're of the same ideology, okay, they're going to literally have a collective fighting another collective with guns in their hands. So whether it be National Guard troops and ICE troops fighting policemen and militias, or whatever it may be, this is what we're going to see. Verse 16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, which you're hearing now. Okay, a verbal calling of people to uprise and uproar against their authoritative state. It says, and invading one another. So they're going to be going in without consent into people's cribs, as you see in now, into people's spaces. That's what to invade means. It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Yeah, the people that's supposed to be in an authoritative state over them. And the course of their actions, so whatever they put their mind to, it says, shall stand in their power, right? So the Lord is basically allowing these things to happen, and for them to get the results and the outcome of what they set out to do. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Because if you see these guys telling you you can't go over nowhere, you're not going to bun brush that place, because then they have the license to kill. Remember, we at a point now where the vice president, the vice king of Babylon, right, is saying that federal troops have absolute immunity. All right. If they wanted to, they could kill 10 people point blank, period. And there's not, other than the moral courts, the public, what do they call it? The public courts, like, social media and shit, saying that they wrong. But the law might say, well, he's good. Might suspend him or whatever, but they're not gonna lock him up. You feel me? But that this is what we going into. There is no goalpost. There is a gray area. They could do absolute immunity. Literally means, you could grape a woman in this middle of this street right here as a federal troop, and nothing's gonna happen to you. You can boom somebody in the face and use the excuse like, yo, I was fearing for my life, and they literally didn't do nothing. You're untouchable. All right. So martial law, verse 17, verse 18, for because of their pride of the city shall be troubled. So we're going to see and I brought this out earlier in an old video not too long ago. As is the ruler, so shall the people be. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10. Okay, because if that man, Nero 47, is prideful, that means that the people under him is prideful. And then this is the state that you see Edomites in whatever status or level that they at feel, man. The cities is going to be troubled because of the pride of the people. And because of that, they're going to be going into people's houses. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So that's what's going to put it on to a next level. We see in this, the only reason why things seem to be okay now is because people can eat. You take away people can't eat, the things you see in Minnesota, the things you see in other places is just going to explode on a level we've never seen or heard before here in Babylon the Great. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makakwadash. On to the next one. Shalom.